Rubbing on my teacup. April, Part 2. The sweet cowslips. I remember cowslips flowering in April when I was young. They grew on the side of our railway line. Every day huge steam trains thundered through on their way to the seaside town and then back again at night, taking trippers home. Along the railway were swathes of unattended land, rather like the side of the motorway these days. Between the taut iron fencing and the rail lines, there frolicked all sorts of plants and animals. They were a tough breed because every now and again a burning coal or spark fell from the train and everything caught fire. The smouldering flames burnt fast and uncontrolled, racing along with the train. Things had to be strong to survive there. The cowslips somehow escaped burning, and every April their flowers came out in profusion, and they hung demurely like a bunch of keys. They carpeted huge areas of our line side. At that time of year, 2 men came on a little rail buggy with no roof. It was hand-powered by them both. They scooted along the rails, standing up and pushing the bar in turn like Laurel and Hardy. They were dressed in big navy trousers with heavy coats and railway-issue hats. They came to check the nuts and bolts on the line. We saw them going into a nearby wooden cabin with no windows. The shed was padlocked, but they had a huge bunch of keys and one key fitted the lock to their cabin. They made a little garden outside, and at lunchtime they sat out on wooden chairs in the sun, drinking their tea from mugs. Sometimes they picked the cowslips, and sometimes they fell asleep after their drink. Then they worked again until nightfall, when they locked the cabin and jumped on their little buggy and set off back home. When I saw them picking the huge bunches of cowslips, I saw them take them into the cabin. I picked the cowslips too and took them home and put them on our table in a jam jar. Sometimes I pulled the little florets from their green casement and I sucked the narrow tube at the base. I could taste the nectar, and in the days when sweets were rationed, that was a seductive taste. The wild cowslips are out now on Oak Meadow. Here they are, the true wild cowslips, with little pale petals peeping out from a green tube. They are rare to find in a field these days, probably because of our modern farming. But you can still see them growing wild in some hidden places in the countryside, and occasionally you can see them on motorway embankments. 20 years ago, I found one little plant on the banks of our pond in the corner. Now there is a whole sweep of cowslips. We have so many that last year we picked a bucketful and made cowslip wine. It is excellent and has a sweet, nectary taste. Now, telling you all this has made me wonder what the men were doing with all those cowslips they picked. I am also wondering if it was really tea they had in their mugs.